In this podcast episode, Patrick Bet-David discusses the recent fraud verdict in the FTX case and the signs of instability in the economy. The FTX case involves Sam Bankman-Fried, who was recently convicted on all 7 counts of fraud. Bankman-Fried stole $8 billion of people's money and was involved in political donations. Bet-David highlights the significance of accountability in this case and the need for people to be cautious during the due diligence process. The discussion then shifts to the current state of the economy and the warning signs that indicate a potential recession. Bet-David mentions that 86% of executives believe a recession is coming. He also points out that 7 stocks alone account for 28% of the S&P 500, which is a concerning concentration of power. Additionally, the level of debt in the economy has reached alarming heights. The conversation delves into the FTX case further, with Bet-David discussing the book, Going Infinite, written by Bankman-Fried's mother. The book explores the concept of personal responsibility, which is ironic considering her son's actions. Bet-David questions how Bankman-Fried was able to convince people to trust him with such large sums of money without any board oversight. The discussion then turns to the broader issue of trust and accountability in business. Bet-David shares examples of other companies like WeWork and Cube that experienced financial troubles due to lack of oversight and questionable practices. He emphasizes the importance of asking questions and conducting thorough due diligence before getting involved with any business or investment opportunity. The conversation shifts back to the economy, with Bet-David discussing the current macroeconomic landscape. He explains that the 2008 market crash was driven by the subprime mortgage crisis, while the current situation is different. The economy has experienced a prolonged expansion fueled by low interest rates and cheap money. However, there are concerns about inflation and the potential impact of raising interest rates. Bet-David highlights the role of Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell in managing the economy. He explains that Powell wants to raise interest rates to combat inflation and increase unemployment. However, the timing of rate hikes is complicated by external factors such as the conflict in Israel. The podcast also mentions the potential timing of a recession based on historical trends. The conversation continues with a discussion on the unsustainable levels of debt in the economy. Bet-David emphasizes the need for individuals, corporations, and the nation as a whole to address this issue. He suggests that paranoia should be turned into an action plan, with a focus on mapping out different possibilities and being prepared for potential risks. He highlights the importance of considering different scenarios and their potential impact on the economy, such as unemployment rates, inflation, and interest rates. Bet-David emphasizes the high levels of credit card debt and the record-breaking average interest rates, which can lead to significant financial burdens for individuals. He also mentions the elimination of forgiveness for student loans, which will result in increased monthly payments for many people. Moving on to the corporate sector, Bet-David discusses the rising corporate debt and the staggering interest payments that companies will have to make in the coming years. He also mentions the increase in defaults on car payments, which could be an indicator of economic challenges. Additionally, he highlights the massive debt of the United States and the potential consequences of rising interest rates on the country's budget. Bet-David then shifts his focus to geopolitical tensions, particularly the conflict between China and India. He notes that India is becoming more assertive in its dealings with China and is no longer afraid to challenge its dominance. He also mentions the importance of Taiwan in the semiconductor industry and the potential implications of China's desire to control it. The podcast also touches on the impact of money printing on the economy and the concerns surrounding the debt crisis. Bet-David acknowledges the difficulty of predicting the future and the challenges of implementing long-term plans in a constantly changing political landscape. He emphasizes the need for individuals to increase their market value and learn new skill sets to stay competitive in a rapidly evolving world. In terms of investment strategies, Bet-David advises caution and recommends focusing on areas of expertise rather than blindly investing in unfamiliar markets. He mentions the potential opportunities in the commercial real estate and baseball card markets, but cautions against investing in areas without sufficient knowledge. He also suggests maintaining a cash position and investing in index funds to optimize for options and avoid forced sales during market downturns. He then shifts the conversation to the current state of the world and the possibility of a World War II-like event occurring in the next 6 to 12 months. While he acknowledges that he is not certain about the likelihood of such an event, he believes that the market has the potential to recover quickly, as seen during the COVID-19 pandemic. Bet David advises against trying to predict the future and urges listeners to focus on long-term strategies rather than short-term market timing. He discusses the opportunities that may arise in the next few years, particularly for those with cash on hand. Bet David suggests that there will be many assets and businesses for sale, and those who make the right choices and have cash available can take advantage of these opportunities. He shares an example of a conversation he had with a business owner who is looking to acquire smaller businesses in their industry. By reaching out to potential sellers and building relationships, there is a chance to acquire assets and expand market share. Bet David also touches on the role of social media in holding people accountable and exposing certain agendas. He mentions recent discussions in the Supreme Court regarding social media companies' ability to remove content from their platforms, highlighting the potential implications for censorship and free speech. He believes that social media can be a powerful tool for transparency and accountability if it remains open and accessible. The conversation then shifts to the decline of empires and the potential decline of the United States. Bet David expresses his belief that capitalism and the desire to protect wealth will prevent the country from falling into decline. He argues that individuals in positions of power, such as CEOs and billionaires, have a vested interest in maintaining stability and protecting their assets. He also emphasizes the importance of social media in exposing the actions of those in power and holding them accountable. Bet David continues by discussing the need to sell America and its ideals. He criticizes certain communities, such as tolerant Christians, libertarians, and wealthy conservatives, for not standing up for their beliefs and allowing others to gain power. He calls for a greater appreciation of capitalism and the individuals who create value and contribute positively to society. He also encourages unity and the support of politicians who align with these values. The conversation then shifts to the broader topic of values and the current state of America. Bet David expresses his concern about the increasing polarization and division in the country. He believes that loving America should not be a political statement and laments the fact that flying an American flag can be seen as a right-wing extremist act in some areas. Bet David argues that the battle over values is at the core of many conflicts in society. He suggests that people need to either convert others to their values or defeat opposing values. He acknowledges that this is a challenging task but believes it is necessary to protect and promote the values that have proven to be effective. The discussion then delves into the role of ideas and the power of communication. Bet David shares a personal story about a former drug dealer who turned his life around after being exposed to a set of powerful ideas. He emphasizes the importance of sharing and promoting these ideas to help others improve their lives. Bet David also addresses the issue of education and the influence of academia on young minds. He criticizes universities for promoting certain ideologies and stifling common sense. He shares a story about a colleague whose daughter became estranged from him after attending college and being influenced by these ideologies. The conversation then turns to immigration and the value that immigrants bring to America. Bet David argues that immigrants should be grateful for the opportunities they are given and should strive to make America a better place. He suggests that the country should focus on attracting the best and brightest individuals who can contribute to its growth and success. Bet David concludes by discussing the importance of defending and promoting ideas that have proven to be effective. He encourages individuals to be vocal and passionate about their beliefs, even if they face criticism or backlash. He shares his own experience of facing criticism when he started discussing politics on his YouTube channel but ultimately found success and a growing audience. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe.